Canadian High Commissioner to India, Mr. Joseph Karen, Jerry, Peter, and fellow fraternity of auto component makers, and also the leadership, if any, from the OE side. I guess the hall is just getting filled up. But ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. If at all, I can say that we are in a defining moment in history of global automotives. We heard the two speakers in the morning, and they did define that, so I don't need to needle that pain once again. But just as I opened my BlackBerry in the morning, the flash came in of another distress, saying that Visteon is having problems. We saw that monolithic organizations, which we revered for ages together, are under stress. And I think that what is the reality? Reality is that we are going to be restructured as an industry, as a sector. That's the reality. And we have to learn to address it. Besides this, another trend which is getting there is the government intervention. When the bailout packages go out, obviously the government wants to get involved. The moment the government wants to get involved, they even want to run the agenda for development. And I hope that the kind of attention that the sector is getting doesn't go beyond a point, because then it really rivals with the North Korean nuclear plan or something of the Taliban, etc. So we do need to focus ourselves, and like it was said in the morning, that crisis does present an opportunity. And in an opportunity, if we have to succeed, we have to do some out-of-box thinking, and thus I congratulate you, Jerry, and Auto21 for setting up this conference. And thank you so much for inviting us and giving us an opportunity to present the Indian automotive industry. I would go through this presentation with the content that a brief overview of the Indian economy and give you a perspective which is other than what you can get out of sheer graphs and papers and even possibly through the internet. A brief on the Indian auto component and the auto industry and what India has on offer. Most often than not, one hears a lot about China as one goes around the globe, what kind of opportunities it has to present. And somewhere, even in the morning, the scope, even our good friend, the economist, didn't find a place for India. He said China was moving up in the economic scope of things and didn't know that we had India going there as well. So what are the possibilities and what are the methods of getting engaged with India? That will be part of the next presentation. That will be the part of the next section. Pictures always speak better than words. There is a part of India which is surging as an economy, which is vying to be there with global infrastructure. There are pockets of improvements, and I must admit there are challenges as well. But it's a democracy, and democracies move slowly but surely. There's another India, which is the emerging India, with 70% of the population still in rural India. They are trying to now integrate their demands and are demanding equal opportunity rights to say that we also need to be there. If 770 million people who are living in the rural areas get connectivity, please don't, I don't know how far you can see this picture, but there is a laptop with a guy on a bike who doesn't have a power in the village, and he's trying to run the laptop with a dynamo on a bicycle. There's a person who doesn't know how to read and write, but using an ATM machine. There's cell phones all around. The IT and ITES has actually gone into the lives of the rural people and making their lives more and more meaningful to participate in the greater growth of the country. Now let's look that we have had great 12 consecutive quarters of 9% growth quarter after quarter. It's an economy which is booming. It's an economy which has great strengths to offer. And I must tell you that there's been a structural change within the Indian economy. From an agrarian economy, it is now more and more service-oriented. So on a PPP terms basis, it literally equals or slightly exceeds the Canadian economy. On a real term basis, it is nearly $1.3 trillion as of today. Let's look at what are the possibilities and what is it that is sustaining this growth. In any business, if one wants to set in a footprint in India or look at India at any point of time, you need to see that it's a stable environment and it's sustainable over a long period of time. And obviously, there are key drivers in place for this. The best thing going for India today is that it's the youngest nation of the world. The median age of a 1.1 trillion billion people is 24. 1.16 billion to be estimated around this time, the median age being 24. Now, this obviously drives a lot of energy within the system. It demands a lot from the political system, and that is what also saw the changes which happened in the general elections recently. Who would have imagined that nearly 700 million registered voters, 55% of them voted within 4 weeks of time span, results declared in 8 hours, and they voted so sensibly for a very stable government. That's the strength that once this democracy starts moving, it really surges. So the government since within 91 when the reforms started, the reforms have taken an absolute root in the state that there can be no reversal. This presents a highly sustainable and a very stable environment where the key sectors